Hello, everybody. So now that the market is slightly recovering, it means that I get to cover the HIMSS conference call. So I want to cover the HIMSS conference call. If you've already listened to it, these are just my main takeaways from the call. But the title of this video is The Amazon of Healthcare, and it's inspired from the quote early in the call from Andrew Dudum. Andrew Dudum talks about how Uber and Airbnb reshaped hospitality and transportation, how Amazon and Shopify reshaped e-commerce and logistics, how Netflix and Spotify redefined media and reshaped media, how PayPal and Square are doing some inroads in digital payments and revolutionizing payments, yet nothing has happened in healthcare. And this is unfortunate because healthcare is one of life's most critical areas, if not the most critical area, as I sometimes define on this channel. I think we're actually spending too little on healthcare and not too much. If you really think about it, we should probably be spending more on healthcare than we do on our house. But that's not how it works. We spend way less and we don't have access perhaps to the best standards of care. At least that's just a personal view on this one. And however, recently, the CEO, Dudum, felt that there is a sense of disruption and that possibility with what they are building at HIMSS. So he feels like they could become a big tech company, a software as a service company type play, and this is also what I feel and what I felt for a long while with HIMSS. They are building something holistic. They are building something that touches all of the different points of healthcare, and that they are building something that is powered by data on the back end, and on top of which AIs will be able to be built. And so this conference call touches onto that vision. And so I want to go for the conference call, go for the quotes. I'm going to try to go as fast as possible to go to the main nuggets of the conference call. So this is not a holistic video about the whole HIMSS business, just about the conference call. So let's go and get started. First of all, Dudum talks about how they have a vertically integrated stack. Their tech stack is vertically integrated. So this is very important. This is how most tech companies work. Everything connects, the back end, the front end, everything connects in one holistic system that they've built, and they don't have disparate silos. The business operates as just one complete tech stack, and that's why they're able to have 10,000 patients per day, and they also have a closed loop data set with the data is not deposited at the pharmacy or at the insurance company or at the benefit manager or at the doctor's office. No, it's all in one place, in one technology stack, which is the HIMSS technology stack, and that data is going to be very helpful, of course, to develop AIs at some point. Point number 2, of course, is the pharmacies and the fulfillment centers. They keep investing in those and growing those. Point number 3, of course, is they are broadening their specialties, introducing new specialties. We knew about menopause. Menopause recently introduced. They're going to introduce HRT for men. That's testosterone as well. They're going to introduce that, but they're doing very well with mental health, dermatology, women's health, cardiovascular support. That was the HIMSS plus heart health, the ED and heart health pills together, and of course metabolic health. That's the weight loss program and the GLP program. I believe there will be diabetes in there at some point, which will be a big market. They're continuing their tech integration and their tech stack and building their tech stack by bringing new integrations, such as wearable devices. And they've acquired the lab testing company. I can't remember the name of it. It's Tribe with Y. Tribe is the name of it. Which is this Lancet system. You place this on your shoulder, you click, and you have a few drops of blood coming out, and you can mail that blood back to HIMSS, and HIMSS can analyze your blood samples. Very disruptive in my view. I didn't even know this existed about a week ago. So that's how disruptive I think this is. Of course, they keep expanding their capabilities to the point that they could be the AWS of healthcare. And if you follow SoFi, for example, you may know they're trying to be the AWS of finance. Everybody tries to be the AWS of something. They think their tech stack is so good that they could export it beyond the walls of HIMSS and hers and export it at other legacy healthcare enterprises who could use their technology. That's an interesting play. I look forward to learning more about this. They've acquired a peptide facility. Why would they acquire a peptide facility? Well, they're manufacturing peptide drugs, and of course the main driver of that is is liraglutide. You may know they want to make liraglutide, which is now the off-patent GLP-1. So that's going to be one of the big reasons why they acquired that. But if they acquire peptide facility, they can also move into other things like hormone deficiency, like muscle pain, like inflammatory diseases, like autoimmune disorders. This is just not about metabolic disorders. Peptide therapy, you can use peptide to treat a bunch of conditions, and they are continuing their vertical integration by now making their own drugs. And so they're peptide-based drugs. They are going to make it themselves. They are not going to buy them from a generic manufacturer like Teva, for example. No, they're going to try to make more and more of it themselves where it makes sense. That's why I say this is a fully vertically integrated firm when they want to own all of the value chain. They don't want to leave any part of the value chain untouched, unowned. Now they talk about AI. This is where I think this is truly fascinating. And of course, they can't do AI doctors because of the law. You can't have an AI doctors, but they can enhance the efficiency of these doctors by guiding the doctors in their prescriptions and teaching the doctors how to prescribe and telling them how quick they can prescribe. And so that's their MedMatch system, where the system automatically recommends what could be best, and the doctor just has to do one click. They also have automatic notes for the doctor. The AI can write the notes for the doctor. So it's still a limiting factor, but not that big of a limiting factor if you can enhance the efficiency of the doctors with AI. But the doctors can't be entirely replaced by AI. The prescribers can't be replaced by AI because of the law and the way prescriptions works. But however, they are already working on AI for integrations such as coaches, therapists, nutritionists, and trainers, right? And so those, you may be able to use AI right away. And we already know from therapists, for example, that when I talk about a business about Talkspace versus BetterHelp, for example, Talkspace, I'm fine with it because it's paid by insurance, but you know, I believe BetterHelp would be disrupted by someone just asking an AI to become a therapist. And so you can ask an AI to act as a coach for you, to be a nutritionist for you, a trainer for you. And so HIMSS can train these AIs on their proprietary data, and they could have an army of AI agents, an army of AI trainers, AI nutritionists just working on the HIMSS platform, virtual agents that they can train with their AI. And this is where the data stack is so valuable for a company like HIMSS. And this is where they have, you know, a very real tech opportunity in front of them. Then the CEO goes on talking about compounders, and of course they're going to have to stop blanket compounding. The compounding of commercially available doses is going to have to stop, but the custom compounding for people where there is a patient need is still going to be able to continue. Now that's going to be a much smaller business, but they will always be able to compound semaglutide for this narrow set of patients who have a real medical need for that. Now, moving on, I'm going to move on to the CFO takeaways now. So the CFO is teaching us a few important things about the numbers. First of all, the revenue growth outside of a GLP-1 business is 43% year over year. So it's not true to say that this business is only growing because of GLP-1. 43% year over year growth outside of GLP-1 is absolutely outstanding. And so we have 1.2 billion in revenue outside of a GLP-1. Of course, if you add the GLP-1, you got to add about 400 billion of revenue to the 1.2 to get to the number. GLP-1 is now close to 19% of the revenue, but the biggest chunk of the revenue remains the non-GLP business. And the CFO, Yemi, illustrates the growth of a business outside of GLP-1 by talking about the growth being unlocked in some of the most tenured specialties in them, some of their older specialties. For example, he talks about dermatology. And dermatology, men's dermatology grew 55% year over year, and women's dermatology grew 100% year over year. Hers is growing very fast for HIMSS, and we'll get to that at the end of this video. It's about 30% of the business. Hers is about 30% of the business for HIMSS now. Now, moving on, again, this is beyond GLP-1, but still talking about the weight loss business. There is about 100 million of the weight loss business, which is just the oral pills, i.e. the metformin/bupropion pills. Those oral medications are 100 million of the business. So 1/4 of the business is not GLP. 1/4 of the business is oral pills. So 1.3 billion of the business is not at risk, is one of the key takeaways here for people that are scared about the GLP-1s. Then, talking about weight loss and talking about GLP-1s once again, and I've reported on this before, showing you some Reddit forums I remember a few months ago. This is the fact that people are opting for 6 months treatment plan. People are stocking up. The people who are on these GLP-1s, they know full well that they're going to have to pay more than $1,000 a month in the coming, I guess, weeks or the coming months, and so they've been stocking up. And if you go on Reddit, if you go on those forums and you read, you see that people are like, oh, go with Hims. They allow you to stock up. They allow you to do a multi-month plan. Well, stock up within reason, but if you do a multi-month plan, they've been over shipping, and so that's an important part of that business. People stock up when they anticipate something goes away. I remember the Enphase days when I was still covering solar energy and Enphase. People were stocking up on solar energy because they wanted to get advantage of a good rates, and so there was like a 9 months backlog. So there is a backlog going on at Hims of people just stocking up. This is what people do when you're about to take their quote-unquote candy away. People want to stock up. The margin, let's talk about the margins. The margins are starting to recover. So this is what the CEO says. The CEO is commenting to the analyst sphere here, because you may wonder why the stock was down. The stock was down mostly because the gross margin was 77% gross margin, and the analysts expected 78.4%. Give me a break. That is barely any difference in gross margin. May I remind the analysts that Hims has always guided for 75% gross margin. Now, granted, they've been beating that for a long time, at 75% gross margin. In fact, I don't remember a day where I remember seeing them with this low of a gross margin of 75%. They're still not this low, but this is still what they're guiding over the long run, 75% gross margin. This is a business that doesn't want to charge an arm and a leg for its products. They want to charge cheaper so that they grow faster and acquire more customers. So they are trending towards 75% gross margin. They're choosing their gross margin. They have power in how they can price things. Okay, moving on. They keep investing. They're investing. So the gross margin was down, of course, because of their investments. Why? They're investing in sterile capabilities, in sterile facilities. They're investing in their compounding pharmacies, the 503A and 503B facilities. They're investing more in personalization. They're investing in a larger facility in Arizona that they're going to open later this year. They're investing in lab diagnostic capabilities with the acquisition of Thrive. By the way, that investment in lab capabilities may allow them to offer testing, blood testing at a low cost and even free in some instances. So think about the disruption that this would bring to a business like a LabCorp or a business like a Quest Diagnostic, where I can guarantee you it's not free because it's not a wholly integrated system. It's not an integrated system. Hims wants to bundle all of healthcare in one monthly price. And so that's why they are leaning towards making it very low cost, if not free. Of course, they're also investing in the Peptide facility that I've discussed just a minute ago. Moving on to the Q&A. When we talk about the Q&A, Hims House, kudos to Hims House for getting their question in there. But Hims House asked a very good question about the long-term growth. Loved that question from Hims House. And the CEO talked about how he sees a way to 10 million subscribers on the platform. He sees a way to 10 million subscribers on the platform. How could he achieve that? Well, first of all, more specialties, more segmentation between those specialties, and more indications. So that's one part of the expansion. Then, more personalization of the treatments. One-to-one, one patient, one drug. And so he sees a future where there could be thousands of treatment variations based on the patient. This is very similar to Spotify. Nobody has the same Spotify. Nobody likes exactly the same music. Nobody has the same Netflix. Nobody likes exactly the same shows. Nobody has the same recommendations on Amazon or on YouTube. Nobody has the same. So these recommender systems get better. And since someone's health is very personal and unique, I think it makes a lot of sense that the treatments would be very different depending on who you are, and thousands of personalization. If you have a highly personalized treatment for you, it makes the treatment much more compelling for whatever condition you are dealing with. Of course, they want to invest more in technology to enable the platform to scale beyond the 10,000 visits and maybe move to 30 or 40,000 visits a day on the platform. And that means integration of AI notes, better AI recommendations, allowing the practitioners on the platform to work more with him and to see more patients with him, and using that AI to really enable those productive hours. Doctors lose a lot of time sometimes just writing notes and doing things like that. Well, the more the AI can do the job, the more a doctor can do an efficient work and very high value work. Talking about AI, using AI to leverage the data set, and they think they have one of the most powerful AI out there, on which they can build the coaches, the nutritionalists, the better recommendation for MedMatch. But in my view, the inevitable AI doctors will be built on data, and it seems to me like HIMSS is acquiring a lot of that data. A little bit like Tesla was acquiring a lot of that self-driving data in the early days. HIMSS is acquiring a lot of that data on patients. And if you look at the data, they have everything. They have initial patient intake, diagnostic component, treatment component, long-term relationship, chronic care, adjustment of treatment, and of course the outcome. So they have a lot of data on which they are going to be able to build better recommendations with MedMatch. And I think inevitably AI doctors and just an AI making a recommendation. I think this is inevitable. Moving on, of course, the question about semaglutide was asked, and they're going to have to stop offering it within the next couple of months. They have to say that, with this stock, I'm still gonna believe it when I see it, because who knows? I mean the FDA could say that it's in shortage again. Who knows? There could be a lawsuit. Who knows? There could be a tariff. Who knows what could happen with this? But for now, of course, it is what's going on. For now, they have to say that, and they have to stop offering compounded semaglutide, but they will offer it up until the day where they can't offer it anymore by the law, and we'll have to see what the OFA does and how soon a lawsuit is filed. I really anticipate a lawsuit will be filed on this one. But either way, the guidance does not include semaglutide. The guidance includes the loss of semaglutide, and the guidance does not include any potential sale of commercially available dosage of semaglutide. And the CEO talked a little bit about that on the call quickly, because you see the commercially branded semaglutide is offered on something like Lilly Direct or Ro, and the CEO said this with HIMSS cannot work. They've been talking to them with HIMSS, and so they cannot provide the volume that HIMSS has. HIMSS is almost 50% of the market share in that space, and so they can't provide that volume to HIMSS, and so that's why they hope to have a commercially available option, but they don't include that in the guidance, and there's no guarantee of that. What he did talk about, though, is that, of course, at least 100 million of weight loss pills, and weight loss pill alone will remain and likely keep growing, and a lot of these subscribers who are on semaglutide, who have likely stocked up, who are in the process of stocking up on semaglutide, they will likely make the switch at some point to either a weight loss pill, to either a commercial dose, if they can get it, to either a custom compounded dose of semaglutide, if they still qualify for the compounding exemption, or to perhaps a combination of both. And the CEO does mention that, even though liraglutide is not as efficacious as semaglutide, it is still a GLP-1. And Duda mentions that they've had good results pairing liraglutide with an oral weight loss medication. So you could have a combination of a liraglutide and an oral weight loss going on here. And so a lot of these existing subscribers, while they may have to come off semaglutide and they may not want to move to the commercially available dose of semaglutide because it would be $1,000. So if they don't want to switch up to that, assuming HIMSS can offer it, then they may just switch to a oral weight loss option coupled with the generic liraglutide that HIMSS would be manufacturing and providing. And, they're going to keep a lot of that business, I guess is the point that HIMS is trying to say on there. And the last point is HERS. The HERS platforms has reached 30% of the business. This was mentioned to an analyst in the call. And I think it's always worth mentioning that eventually HIMS and HERS should be the same size. But of course, this business having been started by ED pills, of course, this business started with HIMS. And so HIMS has a head start. But I believe eventually both sides of the platform will be the same side. If not, HERS could potentially be bigger, because HERS could have indications, like birth control or menopause, which could be bigger. And menopause is obviously more widespread than andropause. So HERS may even be bigger. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, this was the call. These were my takeaways from the call. Loved the call. Great call. This was obviously not investment advice, not financial advice, just entertainment. Hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.